Hey guys, how's it going? Here's a little update on what's going on. Transmission's currently in the car. It's been running decently, but it turns out when the transmission and dry shaft and all that got messed up, it actually destroyed the rear end to where the crush bearing that's inside here, this is the differential that's going inside the car, but the crush bearing inside here is pretty much destroyed. That's why it has all that slop. If you look at this one, it has basically no slop at all to it. So this is the new one that's going in it. I thought it had a cause 1.5, but I guess not. But this might be a Miata diff or center section, because it's not like the original OEM one like I have in the car. It looks different. But that's the replacement for the diff that's in the car right now, and the one that's currently in the car, because that crush washer is actually broken. When you accelerate, this is actually being pushed into the transmission, or pushing into the driveline, pushing the driveline into the transmission, binding up the whole gear case, and it's actually making a horrible noise. So that's why I'm not driving it unless I have to. That's why I haven't had a video of it actually driving yet. So with that all being found out, I pretty much got to rebuild this transmission. This is the rod that was bent on the inside. This is the replacement for it, and you see how far it actually got bent. This is the broken one. That's the new replacement shifter bracket. The new speedo gear, because the other one was chewed up a little bit just from it being old and deteriorating. That's the S4 shifter bracket. A new neutral safety switch, reverse switch, and all the other crap. Repainted the transmission bracket to make it look a little better. Cleaned it all up. That's the part that's broken. Other than that, this is all ready to go back together. I'm just waiting on a new output shaft seal for this and the new input. I'm draining it. Then I gotta tap out these 3 pins, slide this case back so I can get inside there, clean it all up, re-silicone that, put it back together, and then put the whole back end back together. But this thing actually is still pretty clean. And the way you tell if your actual input shaft got, or your output shaft got destroyed at all when you have a blown up drive line or anything like what happened to me, if this little gear right here is plastic, if this little gear got damaged in any way possible, then you know for sure that this output shaft is bent and the transmission's trashed. But since this plastic gear is still good, this transmission's still good. So I just gotta get it all sealed up, put it back together, new input and output seals on it. I'm waiting for the seals to come in for both CV axles and the new seal for this with the new crush washer. Got pretty much everything cleaned up and ready to go though. This is going to be painted cobalt blue. The rear case is going to be cleaned up and polished to at least match the transmission case. Transmission case is going to get cleaned up a little bit. And this is what underneath looks like right now. Looks pretty clean. It's a cobalt blue dry shaft. Looks pretty, matches the oil pan. No leaks, and it turns out the leak that I thought was motor oil was actually antifreeze. So it turns out one of the rear freeze plugs is leaking, but this engine was built as a race engine, so it probably never ran antifreeze. It was always ran with pure distilled water, so it probably rotted out one of the freeze plugs in the back, but it's not leaking anymore. And the time that it was leaking actually still is. The time that it was leaking, it was actually about 30 to 32 degrees outside, so it probably just got cold enough to shrink the freeze plug just to make it barely seep. But other than that, everything looks pretty good. No leaks from here. So I got one leak right there. No leaks up over there. That's just shiny black. That right there is from me. And follow this line up. Yep, there it is. See the green? So you have freeze plugs going out. And I still got to tighten the drain plug. But the freeze plug is going out. That's why it's leaking. That's why it's green. But other than that, everything seems to be pretty good. I gotta pull this transmission out, set it to the side as a spare where someone wants to buy it. It's for sale on OfferUp. And then I gotta pull this rear differential out, drop the whole rear subframe. I have solid urethane bushings for the subframe and the diff mount, so what I was gonna do is get some thin rubber sheets that they use for industrial machining for the padding for the floor to keep vibration so it doesn't crack the actual concrete that's holding the studs in. I'm going to get that same exact rubber padding, probably 3 to 4 millimeters thick, and I'm going to cut a circle pad out, put it between the subframe and the diff and the chassis, and then put another one between the mount, this little outer mount right here, and the actual subframe to try to keep some of the vibration out of the back. Because if you look, that is a solid urethane mount. That thing travels all the vibration up into the car. So I want to put a rubber pad up on the top and a rubber pad inside there, plus with the rear end too on the diff. And hopefully by doing all that, that'll keep some of the vibration back here from the drivetrain working its way into the cab. Dry shaft's cobalt blue. The diff's going to be cobalt blue. The rear case is going to be polished and clean, and that's actually aluminum, but it's dirty, but it's going to be polished and clean, matches the transmission. This rear subframe is probably going to be painted bronze or redone black. I'm not too sure, but if I do the subframe bronze or black, the control arms are going to be done bronze, and then the hubs are going to be done bronze. That little section up in there, all that would be done bronze instead of aluminum. Or I can actually do the control arm black, do the subframe bronze, and then do the hub bronze, which I think looks a lot better. And then repeat the same process on the front with the blue, cobalt blue diff. It'll be the same color as Cusco pretty much. And then I'm going to get Power by Max camber rod. That one's cutted and welded, but I guess I shortened it too much where now it's binding up the rear diff. I'm going to get one of those that's adjustable. I'm going to get these new end links that are shorter so it takes out some of the camber in the back because that's too much camber. And I'm going to get these rods that are adjustable. And that will pretty much complete the rear end with coilovers. And then I'm going to get a set of AutoZone CV axles with a lifetime warranty. Other than that, everything else in here is pretty much built, besides those few pieces. And then I'm going to get the big brake kit. You can see how much room it has. It'll fill in all that. The front's almost filled in pretty good, but the big brake kit will fill it in a lot better. And for the front, I got new inner and outer tie rod ends, new lower ball joints. I got to get rack and pinion bushings, and then the coilovers in the front's pretty much ready to go to be rebuilt. And then once I rebuild the front end, the rear end, drop this transmission in, put that rear diff in, and get everything all settled, then it's straight to the alignment shop to get this damn thing lined up once and for all. Then it can finally go nicely down the road and not have to fight me. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. Have a good one.